Bloomberg polled 39 of the world's top economists. What kind of impact are we going to see if we go over that fiscal cliff? What's it going to have in terms of impact on U.S. GDP? Here's what they said. The vast majority of them, 92%, say that we'll see at least a partial resolution to that $607 billion of automatic tax increases, spending cuts by the beginning of 2013 if we go over the cliff. Now, given those expectations, just how much pain will the U.S. economy suffer in terms of GDP? Now, the more positive estimates are for a 0.5% drop in gross domestic product. That's what the Congressional Budget Office estimates will happen here. The max estimate, though, minus 4.5% for GDP. Mind you, now we saw a relatively positive gross domestic product number last quarter. It was actually up around 2.7%. The median estimate is for a drop of 2%. So still a pretty tough scenario, Betty, overall in what economists are thinking about the fiscal cliff.
What are the economists saying, though, about the sentiment around the fiscal cliff debate, Dom?
Well, that's a good point, Betty, here. We spoke with Chris Rupke, who's the chief financial economist over at Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, and he said, quote, forecasters are frozen in their tracks as no one wants to think the unthinkable here. We think the effect is no more than a 0.5 percentage point drop, chiefly through consumer spending. So that's a big deal there. Of course, you remember last week we heard from former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan about the same kind of situation. Take a listen.
The one thing I can be reasonably certain of is we won't get through this whole issue without some pain. The presumption that we're going to have a painless solution to this, I think, is fantasy.
Now, on the more optimistic side, though, Bloomberg senior economist Rich Yamarone told us that he doubts mothers are pushing their kids down a shopping aisle, telling them to put down toys and put them away because there's a looming fiscal cliff. So anecdotally, maybe not so much. But, Betty, whether you're an optimist or a pessimist, there is some kind of a sense that there's going to be pain with going over this fiscal cliff here, Betty.